So you'll see down here, we've got our driver's side rock slider here. Just to go over some of what you're going to get in the kit here is obviously your rock slider. You got your bolts. So you're going to have 8 of the small ones and 6 of the large ones. And you'll also get the spacers that go vertically, that hold the rock sliders vertically. Then you got your rivet nuts, your rivet nut tool. You got 6 of the nuts right there. And we'll just go through on how to put this on just to make it look good. Now, these are notched out for the fender flares, so if you don't have the fender flares on, it's going to look a little weird. So you'll need this is a 3/8 drill bit, and that'll drill the hole for your nut rivets, or your rivet nuts. And then you've got a 1/2 inch wrench for your nut rivet tool, and then you've got a 5/8 wrench to hold that. And then this is a 3/16 Allen wrench, and that will be to tighten your little Allen bolts here. And that is pretty much it. And then I think this is going to be a 7/16. Nope, that's going to be a 1/2 inch nut too. And that's as far as it goes for tools. Should be pretty simple. Okay, the first thing you want to do before you start doing anything with these rock sliders is we're going to have to take out the seats and the carpet because we're going to be putting some of those bolts are actually going to come up from the bottom. So you have 3 bolts that come up from the bottom there that are actually going to come up and be up here. So that is what we will do first. Pull the seats, pull the carpet up, and then we will mark where we're drill and do that. Okay, now to get your front seat out, you just have 2 13mm bolts on the front, and then if you push the seat all the way up, you will also have 2 18mm bolts or nuts in the back. So it's got a nut, and then we're actually missing one right here, but that's all right. So, and then we're gonna have to take off some trim pieces in the door to get the carpet pulled up. Okay, and now you'll see we can kind of get to the carpet here. Now, depending on how long it's been in there, it's going to be not going to be easy to kind of pull up, but you just give it a little tug, it'll start to come up. Okay, now in order, I didn't mention this, but in order to get this up there, you need 2 people after you chip the powder coating. And you got to do it with the doors closed, and kind of just like a little Tetris piece. Okay, now once you got this where you want it, go ahead and mark your holes with a Sharpie. So we're going to do the tops first, because those should hold it up enough that we can then go ahead and do the bottom and line up our bottom holes. Okay, so we're on the other side now. The GoPro crapped out on us, so we're starting at the same spot we left off on the other side. So what I did was I just marked and put in 1 rivet nut right here, and then I'm using that to hold this up. And what I'm going to do is I take the 5/16 drill bit, and it fits perfectly in here so I can run a pilot hole. So that way when I put in my rivet nuts that they all line up, because you can't really be off on these. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is take out the one rivet nut that I've got in here right now. We'll drop this back down, and then we'll take the half-inch drill bit and finish boring these out, and then we'll put the other 3 rivet nuts in there, and then we can loosely bolt this up and put in our 3 Allen bolts. Okay, so now that we got our rock slider back off, we've got our pilot holes drilled, we'll go ahead and take the half-inch drill bit and then just go ahead and you can ream them out just a little bit. That way it'll fit perfect. Okay. Okay, so now you can start doing your rivet nuts here. So grab your rivet nut tool, thread that in there. What you want to do, I found the easiest way to do this, or Matt found the easiest way to do this, was to set that right there and then crank on this. And for the first little bit it's kind of hard, but it'll loosen up, and then you'll notice once it loosens up, when you're getting close, it'll get hard again. Okay, come down here, Matt. So I set this up, so right now we've got the rock slider on, we've got the 4 horizontal bolts put in loosely, just well enough to hold this on there. So this is lined up exactly how it should go. So this is going from the front to the rear. So front, rear. So you're going to have the smaller Allen bolt and the smaller washer towards the front, and that's because the floor pan sits down a little bit further right there. So you got a shorter washer, a shorter little tube washer, a shorter bolt. And then we didn't get the instructions on how to install these. I guess it was supposed to come, but we didn't get them. But I believe that it goes the large washer in the front and then the other large washer in the back. And then on the inside of the cab you've got the small washer and you got your nut. And then in the center you've got a small washer, you know, at the bottom of the floor pan, and then a small washer inside the cab, and then your nut. So that's how that's going to go in there. I'll take you under there and show you how I line up the holes and drill into the floor pan, but it's pretty simple. Okay, now just to show you from under here what this looks like. So that's towards the rear tire right there. And right here is going to be our hole for our Allen nut, or our Allen bolt. And then what I'm doing is just getting a drill and just going as level as I can straight up with that, was it 5/16 drill bit, and then just going straight up into the floor. And then you'll see right there, I don't know how well you can see it, but I've already got that hole drilled. That washer, or this tube spacer, is going to go right there, And then you're gonna put the washer right here, and then you'll have a washer inside the cab and then the nut. So I will put you down right here and drill this hole over here so you can see. And you can kind of see that if you keep it level, you can come pretty much straight up. And yes, I have done this on the other side, so I know that it works. And just like that, we got our hole. Now what I'll do is put the washers on, or put the spacers, washers, and then Matthew will go inside the cab and put the other washer and the nut on. Okay, so we've got all these in. This is again looking at the rear because it's the best shot I can get. But you've got your Allen bolt, you've got your spacer, and you've got your washer. And we've got all these tightened down. You'll need somebody inside the cab to hold that nut for you so you can tighten it. But to go inside the cab to show you what these look like is, you can see it right there. And if you turn down this way, and then what we've done is on the other side is cut those off, so you don't have to worry about those poking through the carpet or anything. So we'll just take a little Sawzall and just hack those babies off, and then you're good to go. And then we'll go ahead and snug all these Allen bolts down right here. Sorry, it's not focusing, but we'll snug those down, and then we are pretty much done. Okay, now before you tighten these down, I take them out one at a time, put a little Loctite on them, and go ahead and tighten them back in. So do that on every single one, and then that way you won't have to worry about it ever coming out. Okay, so we just took the Sawzall and went ahead and trimmed the bolts off of the inside of the cab. Sorry, it doesn't want to focus for me. So, but those are off. Now we'll go ahead and put the trim pieces back on and put the carpet back, and go ahead, and we're not going to put the seats back in except for the rear because Matt wants to clean the carpets before we put those back in. So I'll go ahead and get that all put back and then show you what it looks like from the outside. Okay, Matt's putting all the trim pieces back in. He's got his little cab lights wired up and ran and zip tied all together. Okay, so we've got all the rock sliders in. Haven't put the seats in because Matt's cleaning the carpet. But just to give you an idea of what they look like. So sorry the garage is a mess. Honestly, you can hardly even tell they're there, which, I mean, if you look at when you open the door, looks really good. I mean, you just have that little lip that sticks out, but all that's doing is protecting your body panels. So that's what it looks like. It only took us a little bit longer because we were recording, but honestly somebody could do both sides in maybe 2 hours. You know, if you got one other person there to help hold it up and mark your holes and do that. But it turned out good. We'll have to do a review, you know, after we go ahead and scuff them up a little bit and lay some rocks on them, but they look really good. Pretty happy with them.